Hello and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be installing the seats that I cut out of the boat back into the boat, except slightly different, so let me explain really quickly. In the last video I installed these walls to connect the top part to the bottom part. This is going to be where the new bench for the back seat goes. So here's the front, that's where the steering wheel is, here's the driver's seat. There I'm going to put a swivel seat, and then here is going to be a bench. There used to be one chair there, and a gap in the middle. As for the front, I need to make a box that sits under this chair, because right now this chair is just supported by that piece. It's not very stable on this little wall. It's just a very thin piece of fiberglass, so pretty much just going to be creating a wall right here out of plywood. So I have to cut this a little bit. So as you can see, this is kind of the layout of the boat now. A lot more open. Before there used to be the chair going all the way across and you had to step over something to get into the front cockpit. Now I'm going to put that swivel chair there. It'll be completely open. You'll be able to walk between the front and the back, no problem. Alright, I believe that's everything, so let's get started. I'm trying to fit this piece. This is going to be the top of the bench where this black line is, but this is curved and it's angled outward as it goes towards the top. So I can't like put this piece up here and measure the curve around here to cut it, because it's going to be different than the curve down here. So right now I'm just trying to figure out a good way to match the curvature of this. I don't know how yet though. Alright. I think I came up with a method to do this. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but I'm going to take this thin piece of wood. It's slightly flexible, but it's still going to break. And I don't have a boiler on me, but I do have a spray bottle and a blowtorch. So I'm going to try and soak this wood as wet as I can, then heat it up with the blowtorch to make it malleable. And then I'm going to try and form it to the side of the boat so I can get that curve, and then dry it out, and then I'll be able to trace that curve on top of the plywood, and it should be an exact match. So let's hope that this works. This is the only thing I can think of right now. Maybe there's an easier way to do this, but I cut out a test piece because I already know that this isn't going to be completely accurate. I obviously had trouble sticking the super glue to this because it's wet, so I put some pins through it. Luckily that kind of helped it stay, but as you can see, I can even line it up here and tell that there's a huge gap there. So I kind of traced this and just cut it onto a piece of wood so I wouldn't have to deal with that ever changing shape, because this won't change shape. And I'll just trace this onto another piece. I'll extend this and get it as close as I can, and then once I get it pretty dang good, I'll put this template onto the final piece of plywood, cut it out, and hopefully I'll be able to fit it all up. Well, it's not perfect. The back isn't flat, so it doesn't sit flat against the back. I'll have to fix that. Just fill it with like a thin piece and then, gap filler. Not that big of a deal, but this fitment is so close that it only just needs a little bit of support right here in this corner to sit where it's gonna sit. And it looks pretty damn good, if I can't say so for myself. Now I just need to put supports under it, glue those in, and then glue this top on, and it'll be ready to be turned into a chest. Wow, it's really hard for you to tell. This is the seat of the front chair, like the driver's chair. And so I'm just gonna build a little box that sits under it and kind of just extends these walls all the way to the ground. But this is where the curvature of the boat kind of goes up. As you can tell by the way that my hand goes up. Maybe, hopefully you can tell. So I need to match this curvature. And there's one way of doing that. A very large pair of calipers. I just get this kind of as level as I can. So now I'll just take this and draw a line. So that's roughly the idea. And then this line that I drew, I cut, and it'll match exactly what was under it. Now when I put this piece here where it's gonna go, you can see it matches pretty closely up to there. Not quite at the end, but everywhere else. Now that this piece is fit with that curve there, I cut out another piece for this side. There's already a piece that I've glued in the back there, you can't see. And I just have this curve. I don't know what it's called, but you create all these slits and it allows it to bend. So now I can put this right here. It'll fit to the curve. So now I just have to glue all this together and the front seat will be there. Is it perfect? Definitely not. But it can be sanded, and I'm gonna cover this whole bottom wall with the yellow cedar, so hopefully most of this will be covered up. And then there'll be upholstery on the top, so cross my fingers I won't see any of it and it'll look nice. Because of the way that I'm designing this bench, I'm going to be putting upholstery on the walls, which means that they're gonna stick out a little bit, maybe 1.5 inches or so. If I try to open the lid when there's a piece of foam that's sticking out 1.5 inches that's going to interfere, I need to have the lid start 1.5 inches in so that it doesn't hit the wall when I'm opening. So right now I'm going to measure and cut a rim all the way around the piece that I already have, and then I'll mount the rim onto here and then mount the lid part onto the rim. I just glued the lip on, which means that the bench is now functional. I need a couple extra things. I gotta fix some tolerances and things around the edges and make sure it all fits, and I'll probably put a little lip that sticks out, or like cleats that come out around the edge, just to make sure that this has something to sit on and it's not just all the weight on the two hinges and then this front. So that's drying and it's doing its thing, and I'll work on that later. What I really want to show you is this sexy front curve. I'm just really proud of how this came out. Like, I don't know, it's so solid, like rock hard. This whole thing is just a great structure. I don't have to worry about it at all. Feels so good. I'm so proud of that. I'm waiting for glue to dry, so I figured I'd knock one of my errands off the list, which is grinding down the ends of these little bolts that stick out. I've now added a lip here, so when you put the bench down, it's supported in the corner and it's not just going to be held by just the hinges in the front. So that gives it a lot more stability. I'm waiting for it to dry still, and then I'll do some cuts and stuff, but I think this is where I'm going to leave the video for this week. This is nice and stable. This I don't want to touch because it's still drying, but I'll show you a video of when I sat on it before everything was there. It looks great. I'm very pleased. This went so quickly. Only 1 week of work and it already has both those chairs. Very pleased. So that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.